Hey, Thrive Loud fans, Lou Diamond here. You know, video continues to be such an integral part of marketing and messaging your business. And many entrepreneurs and small businesses are a bit uncertain, even confused, about how to best create and deploy videos for their websites, YouTube channels, and social media sites. If you fall into this category, I have one word for you: Animoto. Join the millions of businesses, photographers, and families who use the power of video to share what matters most to them. Whether it's marketing videos for your business, slideshow videos for photography, or even slideshow compilations of family pictures, anyone can make great videos with Animoto. If you've been a regular listener, you heard Animoto's co-founder, Jason Shao, on the program share his story and how his company is helping so many people incorporate video into their messaging. After that episode aired, we had listeners, former Thrive Loud guests, and even yours truly use Animoto to help create effective marketing videos. So head over to Animoto.com, click the Get Started button, and use the promo code THRIVELOUD to get an additional savings. That's Animoto, A-N-I-M-O-T-O. Make great videos easily. Hey, Thrive Loud listeners, Lou Diamond here. We have a very special episode today. We have the Christine Cashen on the show. And when we did our interview, we had like a thunderstorm going on in the background. We had a lot of distractions and some things got disconnected. And when that happened, Christine shared with me her favorite movie, and it wasn't really her favorite movie. So I brought her back into the intro of the show. Here she is. Say hello, Christine.
Hello, Christine. Hello, Lou. Hi.
Okay. So she really wanted to share what her real favorite movie was of all time. And we're going to put that in right now before we get to her amazing episode, because she just wanted it to be that important. What is your favorite movie, Christine?
Now that we made such a big deal about it, I'm kind of backtracking, but the other day Princess Bride came on and I started jumping up and down and I thought, I should have told Lou this movie is epic.
So it is epic. And we're going to have to put in some kind of quote right after this to make everybody laugh. Maybe something from the movie or something like that. That sound like a plan?
There's so many. There are so many to choose. I'll be curious to hear what you choose.
Well, anyway, to all the Thrive Loud fans, are going to love this interview with Christine. So stay tuned, because here she comes.
You fell victim to one of the classic blunders. The most famous is never get involved in a land war in Asia, but only slightly less well known is this: never go in against a Sicilian when death is on the line.
Today on Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond.
In fact, I feel like, Lou, it is my job to make America laugh again.
It's time to take an inside look at those that are taking their lives, their businesses, and their passions to the next level. Get ready to thrive loud with Lou Diamond.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, connecting you to the most inspiring and amazing people that are thriving each and every day. Today on Thrive Loud, we bring you an engaging, funny, confident, and one of the more entertaining and exciting speakers anywhere in the world. And while she is known worldwide for her amazing performances at conferences, trade shows, company meetings, her family will often remind her that home is the place where no one really cares about her. She is on a global mission to eliminate whining and to have everyone just try and get along. Thrive Loud listeners, Christine Cashen. Christine, how are you today?
Hello. I'm better because you're here, Lou.
Well, this is really cool. For the Thrive Loud listeners, I'm not kidding. She is one of the better speakers you will find anywhere on the planet. We will talk about her. She is energizing, entertaining, and really, really funny. I got the chance to meet her in her hometown of Dallas and hang out with her and really understand what Christine Cashen is all about. And I said to myself, I'm spoiling the world. I want everybody else to really learn what an amazing individual she is, because she truly defines what Thrive Loud is all about, living her passion each and every day. So, Christine, what I like to do in this program is kind of pass the baton over to you. and let you talk, which is something I know you're very shy about and not very comfortable most of the time. I think the way I want to kick this off is maybe even get onto the path on how you actually started speaking. I don't want to go to the very beginning, but how it all just kind of launched you forward, and we'll take it from there. Does that sound fair?
Oh, absolutely. You know, that's a really good question, Lou, because every job I had, the only thing I was really good at was the speaking part. And so I thought, how do I do more of this? You know, I was a radio disc jockey. I really liked it. It was All Hits 95 WCFX in mid-Michigan. And I felt so isolated by myself in that booth. But when I did public appearances, I really liked it. I worked in college admissions for a while. And, you know, I loved being on the road, doing college night presentations and, you know, trying to get kids to focus and pay attention. You had to be funny. And it was such a rush. I'm like, I want to do more of this. So then I went on to work for a seminar firm where it was like the boot camp of speaking all over the world. And then I wanted to do my own material, and only for an hour or two, as opposed to every day for 6 or 7 hours.
I wanted to hit this part because the part that made me stop and hesitate. You were responsible for individuals getting into college?
It's so scary. But yes, I was.
I'll leave it at that. I was just.
It was a great position, and I loved helping kids find the best college for them. So
in speaking and being on stage, and let's get a little bit of you started off obviously doing maybe smaller groups or companies and moving your way up. You want to talk a little bit about how that progression has been over the early stages, and then moving on to, we'll move on to what you've been doing of late.
Okay, gosh, if I can remember right, I feel like when I first started, you know, you just try to speak as much as you can and get, you speak as much as you can, and wherever there was an opportunity to do it, you would do that. And people would ask you, you know, do you speak for different organizations? And then you'd say yes, and then they'd forward it on. I started speaking for free until someone asked me, how much do you charge? That's kind of how it all started.
We're all laughing here, listeners, because right before we hit the record button, I had my dog kind of come in and walk in. I had my dog come in, right, hang out, and your dog, which I have seen pictures of, is a very large animal and probably is 10 times the size of my dog. So, Christine, what I wanted to ask you is, you speak about a really interesting topic that seems to be very prevalent in just about everybody else's home, and that there are a lot of people in this world who complain and whine in work, in life, and business. And you actually talk about this. I'd love to hear kind of how this all became kind of your mission to eliminate it worldwide, if you could, because you speak about it really well and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, you know, I think we really all need to stop global whining together, because it's so easy to complain. And then I'm not talking about the wine that you drink. I'm talking about the H in there of everyone's tired and everyone's busy. If you haven't noticed, ask someone how they are. Oh, I'm so tired. I'm so busy. Well, you know, you can really say it once, but then you got to do something. So everyone around me just seemed to be complaining about everything all the time, but yet not doing anything about it. And so I'm kind of getting people to a call to action to actually do something about it. If you're tired, go to sleep earlier. Get off your dang phones. There's a lot of people who lay on their bed with their phone above their head. And I'm talking to all your listeners out there. If you have dropped your phone on your face, that's a sign that you need to put it away. Go to sleep. So let's get into problem solving is what I'm saying.
Do you think, this is actually interesting because I know that this is weird. I actually think that people are looking to complain because there's so many ways to get your voice out there, right? Lots of, like, it used to be, the old days, there were only like 3 main television channels. There was no such thing as the internet. There certainly wasn't email and social media. So we didn't have all these channels or forums on how to voice something. And I think because even television, how did television keep its game going, is that, you know, there's a lot of arguments, and from politics to sports to whatever topic it is, people are just talking and they're all complaining. And complaining seems to get attention, almost like the squeaky wheel getting the oil. Do you think that's contributing to why so many people are whining every day?
I do. I feel like everybody has an opinion on everyone else rather than dealing with their own lives, maybe. And I have a saying, it's, don't just be a yelper, be a helper.
Right.
Everyone's got to complain about something. It's like, what about just working on yourself? And if instead of complaining, what can you do to help someone else or help yourself? So yeah, it's too much. There's a lot of that. You're absolutely right.
I think what do your audiences react to the most when you do talk about this topic? Because I know you inject a little bit of humor when you speak. Because someone told me you were funny. I don't know if that's really true, or not, but
it
maybe
might have been me.
It might have been.
Yeah, no. Well, it's fun. My favorite thing is when we talk about things and the audience members, I see them hit each other or put their hand on their chest and go, "Oh my God, that's me." I'm the one who dropped my phone on my face. Or I'm the one who always responds with, "I'm busy." "How are you busy?" "No, I'm crazy busy." And then, getting into a fight to see who's the most miserable, like that's the winner. And so it's really fun when we talk about things and people don't even realize how much they complain. And I'll tell them, "Hey, listen, see if you can go 24 hours without complaining about anything." I'm talking about while you're driving in the car. I'm talking about your family members. I'm talking about people at work. And I look out there and people are shaking their heads. No, they're shaking me off like I can't do it. Not even 24 hours they can't do.
Now, why do you think that is? And what is there an incentive that you can give them? Obviously, that wouldn't work so much, but why don't you think that they can do it?
Well, no, they tell me they can't do it. I think that they can. I think once people realize how often they complain, like let's say in your office, if you put a wine jar in there and anytime somebody complains about something, they put $1 in there, you'd have a lot of wine money for the end of the week because people don't realize how often they put that those toxic words out there.
I liked, we had on the program, I don't know, are you familiar with Cy Wakeman? Do you know who she is?
Yes. In fact, someone just mentioned her to me. They're like, "You're like her."
So Cy did this bit. She wrote a book called No Ego. And she talked about that she is a drama expert and that she's actually focused on helping to eliminate drama from the workplace. And she did this study at a hospital and recognized that 20%, or was it 20%? A third of every hour, 20 minutes of every hour, people were actually spending time complaining about someone else in the office or an issue in there, and they were spending too much time as opposed to actually doing the work.
Yes.
So every time she did it, she put a dollar value on what everyone's time was worth and basically came up with the fact that they quantified how much they were wasting on drama. And I think it parallels very much to whining and complaining. It's in real life and in work.
She's my sister. Yes, absolutely. And it's easier, right? It's a way that you don't have to deal with it, just complaining about other people. I mean, what some people think in their office, what team building is when they all dislike the same person.
Yeah, no, it's right up there.
It's not team building.
So here's a good question. All right. You travel a ton and there are a lot of things that can be headachesome or tiresome or logistics to go around and speaking around the globe like you do. And a lot of that travel might lead you into a mindset that you want to complain and whine. How do you work on yourself so that you don't actually fall into the trap of whining and complaining about the things
that is such an excellent question, because if I do complain about anything, people jump on me right away. "Oh, you're the one who says no whining." It's like, I'm still a human. But I always look for ways, I guess I'm one of those optimists that people want to slap. One time I spent about 12 hours in LaGuardia, and I'm telling you, I had the best time in my travel problems. I went and got a massage. I got my nails done. I got my shoes shined. And then I hit an Irish pub and met some people from Turkey. It was a blast. And, I could have just complained about it, but I thought, what else can I do that's fun here? I have all this time, and it was really fun. So I think people just need to make their own opportunities.
And so I want to channel this back to what I joked about in the opening, obviously, to the listeners, when I said that, everybody knows her. One of her children one time called her out and said, "Mom, isn't it great when you come home and no one really cares about you here?" Talk about what it's like at home when you're dealing with some of the complaints being a parent. Have you been able to channel some of the messaging that you give when you speak to what goes on in your house?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've been this way their whole life, so they're kind of used to it by now. You can't come with a problem unless you come with a solution. But when they were little, I would have them, we had this thing at the house called Happy Steps. And when anybody whines about something, they used to have to sit on the stairs until they were happy. It wasn't the time out. They would decide when they were happy. And I thought, wouldn't it be great if everybody was responsible for their own emotional state? Someone can bring you down and put you down, or, things don't go your way, but you're the one that has to be able to lift yourself back up and change your state of mind. And so my daughter, she would sit on those stairs and I'd come around the corner and ask how she was doing. And she'd say, "Not yet." And she just would sit there, and then she'd pop around the corner. "Oh, I'm happy." It was awesome. And Wouldn't it be great if you were at work and you could point to one of your coworkers and you on the stairs to you're happy?
By the way, I'm starting to think that this might be a good exercise for my interns when they're complaining about some of the work they do. I like this. This is a good task.
Everyone's in charge of their own mind. So,
but that is true, right? We all are, right? At the end of the day, usually when someone's whining, they're trying to defer something that they're bothering themselves. They're either tired or, like you said, they're irritable, they're hungry. All the basic things that we were when we were little kids, we just can't like recognize it, or we're just carrying it over into the workplace.
Exactly. In fact, when you feel kind of bitter and cranky, I always say, halt. H, am I hungry? Because that'll do it every time. Am I truly angry? Am I lonely? Or am I tired?
Yeah. No, I like these acronyms are all making the show notes, Christine. They're very good. They're very actionable.
What helps you remember? It's like, all right, I'm going to halt right now. Hold on. Why am I so fussy? And I realize I'm yelling at the kids because I'm super hungry or I'm really tired. Or sometimes you could be with a lot of people but feel extremely lonely. And I think that also has you act out a little bit.
So, Christine, I was talking to a fellow speaker and I told them that I was actually interviewing you today. And they made a great comment. They go, she has a very natural, understated sense of humor. And I recognize that you came from the Midwest, right? You grew up in Michigan and now live in Texas, which is its own country, as I understand it, having been there recently. Has humor always been a part of who you are?
Yeah. My family, people always ask me about that. And I think if they were to sit 5 minutes with my family, they would get it. Because my mom is a short, spunky Italian. In fact, my grandfather always used to say with everybody, all comedians, no money. Goofy people. I mean, one time we had a college photographer come to our house to do a story on our family. And my mom answered the door. She had blackened in one of her teeth as a joke. To the photographer.
Oh my God, it was a joke. I got it.
Yeah, it was a joke. She has all her teeth, but she just darkened one into what it looked like. And I'll tell you, that guy, I know him. I've known him for years, and he'll always say, how's that crazy mom? Remember that one time? I'm like, I was mortified. Of course I do. But yeah, we all use humor. And some of it, gets us in trouble. And my brother, we both got in trouble all the time at school. We're doing okay now, but
Well, they say this a lot. The people who maybe talk a lot and can't stop speaking in class. I heard this story. We actually had, if you're familiar with Jess Toddfeld, Jess was on Thrive Loud and shared the story that his teacher actually made him sit in the desk right next to her in front of the class and said, you're not allowed to speak for the rest of the day. And now he does it for a living. So he actually gets paid to do it, which is just, a wonderful punishment. But a lot of that is true, right? When we're younger, maybe it might not be the best behavior for where you are in school or in the house or whatnot, but it actually is applicable as a means of not only entertaining people, but connecting with people.
Oh, definitely. Humor is the ultimate. Oh, did you hear that thunder?
I did. That's thunder?
It's like thunder and raining buckets in Dallas, which doesn't usually happen that often. And it's a big storm today. Anyway, hi, everybody.
No, it's great. It's a good thing that we don't do a live weather report, so those in Dallas will know that this happened several weeks ago. So it's okay.
Okay. Wow. I told them to be quiet. I'm with Lou Diamond. Knock it off, Mother Nature. Where were we?
I think we were talking just about how humor is a way to connect with people.
Yeah, I think it's the thing that totally connects us, and it could definitely solve a lot of road rage. If people, like I tell people, if you have a really bad commute, just put on a clown nose. You can't be angry. If you do yell at people, they look at you. I mean, it's disarming. It brings people together. Anytime you could find that connector thing that everyone thinks is funny, it's just the best. In fact, I feel like, Lou, it is my job to make America laugh again.
Oh, I like it. That's good.
We all need to laugh.
We could put that. You know what? We could put that on a hat.
You know what? We definitely should do that.
I think that totally will work. That's marketable. Maybe we do that in a couple of years. So this is a question I love to ask, Christine, while it's raining buckets and thunder, and hopefully the house doesn't get shocked down here. You've had a great, successful career as a speaker and continue to wow audiences everywhere. And you've got a great family and all this stuff well put together, a very large and cute dog. On days, though, that we have off days when we're not thriving, who or what practice do you turn to get yourself back on the thriving track?
Oh my, you asked the best questions.
Yeah.
I find that when I get down, and I'm just like everybody else, I have those days where things are going wrong. I mean, I really try to embrace my hot messness because seriously, we're all hot messes trying to do the best we can. And so for me, I will turn to, I'll pick up the phone and I'll call a good friend. Like I will try to call Tammy Evans and she'll pick up the phone. She's another speaker, fabulous. And we just start laughing. I'll tell her, you won't believe it. You know, I went to make bread. The kids are going back to school and the bread's moldy and this and that. And I missed the bus schedule. And yeah, we just start laughing because you have to or you start crying. But to have someone that can commiserate with me and make me laugh, that's one of the things I do. I also will start writing thank you notes to people.
Really?
I find it really makes me feel better. I'm like, who can I reach out to? You just don't get fun mail anymore. So I'll do some handwritten, just small notes or find little clippings of magazines that make me laugh or happy. And then I'll send people fun snail mail. And that really raises my spirits because I'm not focusing on what's happening to me. I'm looking at helping somebody else. And that always makes you feel better.
Oh, I love that. That's a great way. The thought that just ran through my head was what's his name? Jimmy Fallon on every Friday on the Tonight Show. He actually writes thank you notes and they always play. Wait, in fact, it kind of sounds like music like this, like, you know, dear Christine, thank you so much for coming on Thrive Loud today. It was a true pleasure having you. I hope that lightning didn't strike down the house. It was great to talk to you.
That's perfect. You know what? I need to put music on just like that when I do it. I think that would even enhance the whole moment. So thank you.
It'd be great. You could do an audio tape to communicate that message. So I wanted to get to this part about whining, and I started to get this with speaking because you and we actually met at a very large speaking conference out in Dallas. And it's made up of tons of people just like us with the same type of very quiet personalities and don't like to talk to people. Now, you know, very outgoing types. Yet we've heard, and this goes back to a little bit of the drama or the whining. I've heard stories of people who will complain about all the different nuances and components of the business of speaking because it does take you out on the road. It does take you in other places, and it is a hard business to crack through. And so there's a lot of things that people complain about. What message would you want to give to your fellow speakers who maybe are whining just a little bit too much about what they do?
Oh, man, what? This best job in the whole world. With whatever you do, no matter what your job is, whether you're a speaker or not a speaker, take a look at what bugs you the most. Like for me, let's say it is travel. Then I think, what can make travel even better? Well, when I go to a city that I know someone, even though I don't feel like it, I might call them and say, hey, meet me for dinner. Meet me for coffee. I just recently spoke in South Dakota and I asked the driver, would you just make a quick detour? I'd love to see Mount Rushmore. I mean, what can you do? Think about those areas that are your worst. Like, let's say it's commuting to your job. What could make it better? Well, maybe it's not listening to talk radio. Maybe it's listening to some awesome podcast like this one that's uplifting, right? And
I like the plug you're going with, Christine. We're going to use this as a show opening.
It's true. Listen to something that's uplifting rather than something that gets you more road rage, right? So I think if people would just look at their own life, look at those areas that they don't really like and see what they can do to make it better. When I fly, I always sit next to the best person on the plane.
Okay, why? Wait. Now, what does that mean? The best person on the plane?
I sit next to the best person on the plane because I do. I'll sit down. I'm like, I don't mean to give you any pressure, but I always sit next to the best person on the plane. Tell me about you, you know? And they're like, oh my God, what? I'm like, I know it's this thing I have. And I swear 9 out of 10 times I meet the most wonderful person who always ends up saying, I never talk to people on planes. This was really fun.
That's great.
Fast. We get Bloody Marys. It's really fun. So I think sometimes what you put out there is definitely what you get back.
Oh, I like it. Christine, let's do the administrative part of the program here. Let's go through all the plugs, where people can learn more about you, websites, things that people should know, upcoming events, anything like that, so that it comes better from you. We'll put it all in the show notes, but just so they hear it from you, they will learn
I would love it if people reach out to me. You can find me on Facebook, of course, Christine Cashen Speaking. I've got a personal and a professional. I probably won't connect with you on personal, no offense, just because who wants to see pictures of my kids? Not many people. There's Twitter at Christine Cashen, and I'm starting to do more on Instagram, which is A Dynamic Speaker. So people can hit me up in all those places. I would love it.
Okay, so now I'm going to go, before I get to the ultimate question, which you've been stressing about for a while here on the program. I did want to ask you, what was the most interesting convention or trade show or company that you ever delivered a presentation to? Something that was just so random when you learned what it was, but yet it turned out to be a wonderful experience from when you spoke to them.
Oh, that's so good. You're so good. Listen, it always amazes me of all the different groups that are out there. There's the vinegar people, there's the dairy farmers, there's Concrete Bridge Association. I mean, I'm always amazed at the different audiences that are out there. And sometimes the ones that I'm thinking, why am I going in to talk to dairy farmers? They turn out to be the best. And I'm not just milking the situation here. I mean, they really...
Nice.
They're an audience like no other.
Even better.
They really surprised me, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm always amazed at who's out there. And people are people, no matter what their job title is. The core of everybody, they want to feel important. They want to be appreciated. They want to have less stress and more fun. And I'm very blessed and honored that I get a chance to help them out with that.
No, it's great. And I like the dairy jokes. There's pretty
Sorry,
good.
there's too many. I'm very good at that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right. So here's I'm going to go with two here because I know it's going to be an interesting one. I wanted to hear a signature Thrive Lad question, your all-time favorite movie. Let's start with that.
Oh, this is so hard. I'm so stressed out. A movie that I love that no one else does. How about that?
Okay.
There's a movie called A Room with a View, and it's set in Italy. And my husband might have said to me once that this is the most boring movie that he's ever been forced to sit through. It's a period piece where Helena Bonham Carter is on a trip with Maggie Smith. She's an English girl to the Italy countryside, the Italian countryside, and they have this adventure. And it's just, I can't believe it's my favorite movie, but anytime it is on, I love this movie so much.
And two great actresses too, and a good
Daniel
story. What is
Day-Lewis
it? What is it
too.
Specifically that connects to you about this movie?
I don't know. Maybe it's just charming and it's old school. There's no violence. There's no bad language. It's just pure, and it's a great. I don't know. It's a great the view, the costumes, the acting. It's just charming. Makes me happy.
Okay, so now I've got the tougher question for you
Yeah.
because I thought about this one, Christine. I'm just like, all right. I know lots of my peers, if they had a chance to go hear one of their favorite speakers present, believe it or not, you'd probably make a really high list up there. Just saying, you could be in the top 5, top 3. So if you had a chance to be in the audience and you had a choice of hearing your I don't want to give your top one, give me your top 3 speakers that you have enjoyed seeing present or would choose to say, I want to go see them speak again.
Oh, wow. That's a hard one. I absolutely love Jeannie Robertson. In fact, someday I would love to, if I could have a one-woman show of stories that she has. She travels around the country. I mean, here she is. I don't know exactly her age, but she's in her 70s, just rocking it out there. And I just love the fact that there's no limit to your life. It can go as long as you want. There's no such thing as retirement if you're loving what you're doing.
Right.
And how nice is that? So I would love to see, I love seeing Jeannie. Mark Scherenbrock, some people know him as Nice Bike, is an amazing story. I guess I really am drawn to the storyteller types of people.
I like it. I'll also say, by the way, you guys graced the same stage not too long ago. And for those Thrive Lab listeners that were listening, it seemed to have been a little bit cold on the stage out there. And Christine actually grabbed a tablecloth and used it as some form of a cape. And by the way, most of the people in the audience actually thought that this was part of your outfit and thought that you pulled it off quite swimmingly, by the way.
I found it under a table backstage in the corner as I was shivering, and I shook off all of the crumbs and everything. And the way it was, like, so linen-y, when I put it around like a wrap, people thought it was part of my dress. But it was just functional and fashionable. Who knew? So when you're cold at a conference, ask the staff to bring you a clean tablecloth. One thing I didn't have. And sometimes you got to just deal with what you got.
I like it. Christine Cashen, this has been a personal pleasure here for me to have you on the program.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for coming on. And I loved having you on here. I hope our listeners loved you as well.
Thanks, everybody.
And to all the Thrive Loud listeners out there, keep thriving, onward and upward. And remember, be brief, be bright, be gone.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes, Overcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. And follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Thrive Loud. Or find us on the web at thriveloud.com.